Hey, how are you doing today? In this video, I want to talk about my note-taking system. A good note-taking system, in my opinion, consists of two parts: idea storage and idea factory. Storage is where you store your ideas and inspirations. Factory is where you deconstruct these inspirations ideas into smaller ideas, aka evergreen notes or permanent notes, and reconstruct them to make new ideas. So the general workflow looks like this. You save ideas into your storage from Twitter, blogs, YouTube, etc. Then you take these ideas out of the storage and take smart notes from these ideas in your factory. Finally, you reconstruct new ideas using the evergreen notes. First, let's have a look at the storage. Your storage is for saving a collection of inspirations and ideas you like. Every day you consume lots of information from blogs, YouTube, podcasts, newsletters, Twitter, and so on. And from time to time you see bits of information that resonate with you, and you want to remember them so you can use them for your own thinking or writing or just to see them later. That is when you save the information in your idea storage. Now, there are many apps people use for saving inspirations such as Pocket, Evernote, and Notion. Personally, I use an app called My Mind to save every idea that resonates with me. Whenever I see a blog post, video, photo, or tweet that I like, I save them to My Mind. But I already talked about how I use My Mind in the last video, so if you want to know more, please check it out. Now, let's move on to Idea Factory part. Your idea factory is where the magic happens. This is where you digest the information you saved and deepen your understanding of it, and develop new ideas and insight using a method like Zettelkasten. The process of Zettelkasten, aka taking smart notes, is essentially deconstructing ideas into smaller ideas, which are often called evergreen notes or permanent notes, and then use these evergreen notes to reconstruct whole new ideas. This process of deconstructing ideas is kind of similar to the idea of first principle thinking. What is the first principle thinking? It is the act of breaking something down into the core parts and reconstructing something new using these parts. By doing so, it lets you combine ideas from seemingly unrelated fields. Okay, but what does that mean? Let's consider this famous thought experiment by John Boyd to illustrate how first principle thinking works. Imagine you have three things: a motorboat with a skier behind it, a military tank, and a bicycle. And now let's see if we can break these items down into core parts. Motorboat can be broken down into motor, the hull of a boat, and a pair of skis. Tank can be broken down into metal treads, armor plates, and a gun. Finally, bicycle can be broken down into handlebars, wheels, gears, and a seat. Now, what can we create with these parts? One of many options is a snowmobile. We can combine the handlebars and the seat from the bike, the metal treads from the tank, and the motor and the skis from the boat. Oftentimes, this is how new ideas and innovations are born. You break things down into smaller, essential pieces and combine these individual parts to make a whole new thing.
How on earth has one person been able to innovate in this way? What is it about you?
I do think there's a good framework for thinking is physics, the sort of first principles reasoning. What I mean by that is boil things down to their fundamental truths and reason up from there, as opposed to reasoning by analogy.
So why is this relevant to note-taking? Well, I think the process of Zettelkasten or taking smart notes is very similar to this process of the first principle thinking. In Zettelkasten method, the first step is to take literature notes while reading a book or article. In this step, you analyze each paragraph or sentence and try to identify constituent parts of an idea. And some of these parts of an idea become evergreen notes, aka permanent notes. So evergreen notes are like idea equivalent of those physical parts like motor, seat, and wheels. Finally, you combine your evergreen notes to create a new idea or your own content, which might be a blog post, video, academic paper, illustration, and so on. So this is what's going on inside your idea factory. It's a place where you practice the first principle thinking. Some of the best tools for idea factory are Roam Research, Obsidian, and Remnote. Personally, I think apps like Evernote and Notion are fantastic as a storage, but not as a factory. I drew this little illustration on the other day to explain the difference between Roam and Evernote or Notion. Evernote and Notion have a very rigid structure, which makes it very difficult to connect ideas and notes. On the other hand, apps like Roam and Remnote have almost no structure at all, which can make it chaotic but also makes it effortless to find the first principles, connect ideas, and combine them to make something new. So this is why whenever people ask, can you do Zettelkasten in Evernote or Notion? My answer is always, yes, you can try, but that's going to be very inefficient. To me, that's like asking, can you assemble a car in storage? Well, maybe you can, but you should do that in your factory because that'll be much more efficient and effective. So in my opinion, a good note-taking system should have both a storage and a factory. If one of them lacks, it's not going to be useful. You can try a bunch of combinations of apps for storage and a factory. For example, you can use Notion as your storage and Obsidian as your factory. You can use Pocket as your storage and Roam as your factory. Or you can use Evernote as your storage and Remnote as your factory. All of these apps are fantastic and it's up to your preference which one you pick. Personally, I use MyMind as my storage and Roam as my idea factory. So let's now have a look at my note-taking system. It's really simple. I save everything I found interesting and inspirational in my mind, and I read these things and make highlights. Then I do Zettelkasten inside Roam, which is my idea factory. Again, if you want to know more about this process, check out my previous videos on how to take smart notes. After doing Zettelkasten, you have a bunch of evergreen notes, aka first principles. The final step is to experiment with these evergreen notes to create new ideas or create your own content. This is the most exciting step where you get to tinker with ideas. As Lisa on Twitter says, tinkering is thinking. You can combine or mix different ideas and see what happens. This is exactly how I make videos. I gather ideas from evergreen notes and mix them up, and the result is going to be my content. So this is my workflow and the note-taking system in a nutshell. In summary, I talked about my thoughts on a good note-taking system and why it's important to have both idea storage and idea factory. But obviously this is just my opinion. Everyone has different workflows, so if you already have a working system, there's no reason to change it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you liked this video. If you have any question or just want to say hi to me, please feel free to send me a DM on Twitter. Thank you for watching, bye!